I've been asked by a number of the victims in South Armagh here, but also other people from other parts of Northern Ireland who's been in touch. And again, I have to state this is nothing personal. It's in relation to what Mr. Bothwell has said about the IRA in South Armagh and about how some of them feel they need a way to basically clear their conscience. First off, Mr. Bothwell, there is a way that has always been there, and that is the way to do what it says in the Bible. You know, if you've done wrong, come forward and own up to it. And for to turn around and say that the IRA are good men who did bad things, don't insult our intelligence. Now, I've been asked by a number of the victims here within our own organisation for you to come and speak to them and to justify what you have said. Because these people that you talk about being good people are the scum of the earth. Let's be under no illusion what we're talking about here. We're talking about men who tortured individuals, who kidnapped them and tortured them. We're talking about men who went into Darkley Gospel Hall. We're talking about men who committed mass murder. Mass murder. They are serial killers. That's what we're talking about. Anywhere else in the world they would be hunted down and put away for the rest of their lives. If they want to change and they want to move on, come forward, give themselves up, or come forward to myself and we will bring them to the police station and facilitate them whatever way we need to get their conscience cleared. We'll clear their conscience for them. If they want to know how to do it, come to us and we will show them how to do it. The other point I want to make clear here is a number of people have been in touch with ourselves. And when I say a number, I mean a large number of people. And they're asking, what about this walk in Kingsmill? Is it going to take place? Well, at the minute, yes, it is going to happen again. And there's going to be other walks for justice. And unfortunately, we're going to have to go and protest outside certain political parties' offices because we're not going to go away. Now, we would rather get down to deal with the victims, to deal with the issues at hand. But if we can't be given the resources to do that, the only other thing left to us is to take to the streets. So don't come accusing us of being troublemakers whenever this happens, because we certainly have no notion of setting out to create trouble, but we certainly have no notion of sitting back and put in the corner and fed lies. There will be marches coming up. There will be issues that will be raised that will be controversial, and be under no illusion, the support is there for them, and especially among the victims. But even other people are now saying to us on the street. Ordinary individuals are stopping us on the street who are saying, I'm not a victim, Willie, but I fully support where you're coming from, and I think it's about time something has to be done. And this talk about so many millions being put into the victim sector. South Armagh, one of the worst affected areas, if not the worst affected area, as far as the unionist community goes, is getting nothing whatsoever. Where we should be sitting down, help victims get over their problems, deal with their financial issues, deal with their mental issues, deal with the justice issues, we're going to have to organise marches and protests. So the blame lies, and beyond no doubt about this, the blame lies with the people who say they're doing stuff for us, the funders and OFM, DFM. And again, before somebody says, oh, it's all about money, it's not about money. But unfortunately in this world you can do very little without it. The blame lies solely at the doors of OFM, DFM. They're the people who are setting the agenda for the innocent victims. They don't know what they're talking about. How many of them is victims? Victim makers, perhaps. but not victims. Certainly not innocent victims. I cannot believe that I find myself saying that the loyalist paramilitaries, and I don't believe the majority of the individuals within the organisations actually know this is going on. The UDA, the UVF, the IRA, the INLA, Sinn Féin, the PUP have all formed a group to work together for the betterment of prisoners, whereby they're putting in joint applications for funding for prisoners. Now, first off, I can't understand why the loyalist community, the loyalist paramilitaries, cannot stand on their own 2 feet. Why they need the people who try to destroy this country and murder our kith and kin, butcher them. Why they need them to go along with them for them to get funding or whatever they feel they need to help them move on. Why do they need these people along with them? It's beyond me. But to find that they're actually working hand in hand. And the other thing I have to say, OFM, DFM is involved in this. I'll say that again. OFM, DFM is involved in this. They will tell you what they're doing for the good of this country. Will you tell me how you can justify working with the INLA, the IRA, Sinn Féin, the PUP, and unfortunately the loyalist paramilitaries, the UDA and the UVF, how them working together is for the good of this country? It is beyond me. And they've even got 2 members of the Equality Commission. Now again, the Equality Commission are working with these individuals to help them as well. Every time we contact the Equality Commission, we don't fit into their criteria. But obviously, if you're a member of the Republican movement who have butchered and destroyed this country for this last 40 odd years, you fit into the Equality Commission criteria, but not if you're an innocent victim. So I had to say I'm disgusted, and a lot of people that I've spoken to, and indeed a lot of people who were in the loyalist paramilitaries and who did do their time and have now come away from it, regret that they actually got caught up. But the one thing they don't do, they don't go and sit with the perpetrators who created them in the first place. I can't make it any clearer than this. There is an agenda out there to silence the like of myself and victims like myself. What has been done for the victims? I think the best way to explain it is this. They'll tell you they've give so much money to FAIR, and whenever you look at it at an overall picture, it sounds that they've got a lot of money. Well, the reality is we haven't, and it couldn't be further from the truth. One application being put in by the prisoner organisation, a joint prisoner organisation, which includes Republican prisoners and Loyalist prisoners, is for £10 million. £10 million. What we have to run this organisation, what we get as an organisation, now this is what we get, is less than what the wages is for one of the advisors in the First Minister's office. That's to pay for the staff to run this office, right from paying for the heating, lighting, to cover all that. Or another way to look at it is the wages of one of the commissioners is the equivalent of what we get here as an organisation. You tell me that they're looking after victims. That is how to look at this organisation. That is how we're being treated. Now that's bad enough, but for over 2 years we haven't got a penny. because they've tried every dirty move in the book to try and destroy us. But because we're not here simply for money, they will not destroy us. We will be here irrespective of what comes.